Hi everyone, welcome to Little Diamond Yoga Stories with me, Megan. Now Little Diamond Yoga Stories is all about learning a story and doing some yoga as we go along. So copy the moves that I do and try to have some fun. Okay, let's start off our yoga as we always do by crossing our legs, sitting on our bottoms and bringing our hands to our heart. And after 3 we're going to say our yoga hello. Namaste. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Okay, well done. Now today's story is from a very, very long time ago. So let's do our clock pose to go back in time. Keep on your bottom with your legs crossed and take your arms out wide. And we're going to go tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, like a clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, like a clock. Well done. Now our story is set in China and starts off with an important man called a Jade Emperor. So standing up, take your feet slightly apart and pop your hands on your hips to show your important Jade Emperor pose. The Jade Emperor decided that he wanted to find a way to measure time. So he told all of the animals he was going to have a race. And the first 12 animals would have a year named after them. Let's go into our racer's pose. Come onto your hands and knees to start. And then take one foot in between your hands and then push the back foot out so your leg is straight. So you look like you're ready to take part in a race. Drop that knee down and go back onto your hands and knees. Then bring the other foot in between your hands and straighten out your back leg. Our racer pose on the other side. The animals warmed up, ready for the race. Come onto your knees. And then take both of your hands onto the side of one leg and look over that shoulder. They twisted one way. Then come back to the front and take your hands onto your other leg and look over your other shoulder. And they twisted the other way. They stretched out their bodies, stretching up as tall as they could. Standing up, bring your feet together and your hands to your heart. And then stretch your hands up as high as they go. And then come onto your tiptoes to stretch even higher. They stretched out their bodies as wide as they could. Then come back down and let's go into our star pose. Take your legs out wide and your arms out wide, stretching your fingers out as wide as you can. Then bringing your feet together. They also stretched out their legs and back by bending to touch their toes. So bending down, bend your knees if you need to touch your toes. And then standing up, the animals took big steps to the riverbank. Okay. 1, and another, 2, and another, 3, and another, 4. Well done. At the side of the riverbank, 2 animals, the rat. Let's go into our rat pose. Come onto your knees. Then take your head down to the floor and tuck yourself up small. The rat and the cat, let's go to our cat pose, onto our hands and knees. The rat and the cat were best friends. They were a little bit worried because they weren't very good swimmers. Come onto your tummy and then swim, show your swimmer's pose. They decided to ask the ox if they could go on his back. Let's go into our ox pose. I'm going to do this facing the back of the room, but you can keep facing forward. But I need you to be able to see my arms behind my back. So onto your bottoms and cross your legs. Take your arms out wide and then scoop one arm behind your back so your fingers are facing up towards your head. Then take your other arm up and down over your head. See if you can get your fingers to touch in the middle into your ox pose. The ox said to the cat and the rat could ride on his back. Okay, bring your arms back out. The Jade Emperor, let's standing up, take our feet slightly apart and our hands on our hips. Called for the race to start. As it began, the rat onto your knees. Take your head to the floor. And the cat up onto your hands and knees. We're very happy to see the ox take the lead. Onto our bottoms, crossing our legs, taking our arms out wide. Scoop one arm behind your back so your fingers are facing up towards your head. And take the other arm up and over so your fingers are touching. It was very exciting. The ox was in the lead and the rat and the cat are on his back. And they could see the riverbank ahead of them. And just as they were about to hit the riverbank, the rat, let's go into our rat pose, onto our knees. Take our head down to the floor. Push the cat into the water. And then he jumped from the ox's back across to the riverbank. Let's show a big jump. So onto your toes. Try not to wobble. Place your hands down and we're going to jump just like the rat from the ox's back over to the riverbank after 3. 1, 2, 3. Well done. The Jade Emperor, standing up with your feet slightly apart, with your hands on your hips, said, "Well done, rat. I shall name the first year of the Chinese zodiac after you." The ox. Let's go back into our ox pose. Onto your bottoms, crossing your legs, arms out wide. Scoop one arm up behind your back and the other down behind your back. Try to touch those fingers. The ox came in second place. He wasn't very happy about being tricked by the rat into second place. Next, along came the exhausted tiger. Let's go onto our hands and knees. And then into our tiger pose. Can you lift up one leg behind you? And then use your opposite arm as your tiger's claw, scraping forward. Take that arm and knee down and then try it on the other side. Lift up the other leg and then that other claw, scratching forward. The tiger was exhausted because he had had some very strong currents to swim against. Onto our tummies and let's go into our swimmer's pose. But the tiger came in third place in the race. Next, along came the rabbit. Onto your knees and then take your head down to the floor. Behind your back, hook your fingers together and lift them into the air as your rabbit ears. The rabbit came fourth in the race. He had got across the river by hopping along stepping stones, then hopping onto a log, and then hopping onto the riverbank. Let's go and try some hopping just like the rabbit. Starting at the edge of your mat, onto your toes, Hold those hands down. After 3, we're going to do 3 jumps along the stepping stones. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then turn around, staying on your toes. And this time we're going to do 1 jump onto the log and then 1 jump onto the riverbank. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Onto the log. 1, 2, 3. Onto the riverbank. Well done. Next, in 5th place came the dragon, sitting on your bottoms and cross your legs. And we're going to do 3 dragon breaths. Hook your hands together and pop them under your chin. As you breathe in, you're going to lift your elbows up in the air. And as you breathe out, you'll look up and breathe out the fire. Just like a dragon. Ready? Breathe in. The Emperor, standing up with your feet slightly apart and your hands on your hips, looked at the dragon and said, "How come you didn't win when you could fly across the river?" The dragon, back on your bottoms and cross your legs, said he could win, but he had decided to stay behind and help the other animals get across the riverbank. Next, the horse could be seen heading towards the riverbank. Come onto your knees, sitting up, and take 1 leg out in front of you. Bring your hands to your heart and take them above your head, and then we're going to clip, clop, like a horse. All of a sudden, as the horse was about to get to the riverbank, along came the snake. Onto your tummies. Put your hands under your shoulders and then push yourselves up like a snake. The snake made the horse jump back. So the snake slithered onto the riverbank in 6th place. And then the horse, back up onto your knees, sitting up, and take your other leg in front of you. Bring your hands to your heart, lift them above your head, and then we're going to clip, clop, like a horse. The horse came in 7th place. Next, on a raft came along a monkey, a rooster, and a goat. Let's start in our monkey pose. Come onto your toes with your hands next to your feet, and after 3 we're going to do our monkey jump into the air. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, ah. Well done. And now into our rooster pose. Onto your knees. And then take your arms out wide and stretch them across your body so your elbows are on top of each other, and go just like a rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. And the goat. Onto your hands and knees. Push your bottom into the air and then kick like a goat. Kick like a goat. Well done. The monkey, the rooster, and the goat had worked together to build a raft and then travel over the river. The Jade Emperor, standing up with your feet slightly apart and your hands on your hips, gave the monkey 8th place, the rooster 9th place, and the goat 10th place. In 11th place, along came the dog. Onto your hands and knees, tuck under your toes, and then push your bottom up to the sky. The Jade Emperor asked the dog, "How come you took so long when you're such a good swimmer?" The dog said the water was so clean he had stopped to have a bath on the way. Let's go into our bath pose. Onto your tummies and lift up your feet. And then take your arms around to the side and grab your ankles. And then lift yourself up into a bath. After the dog, in 12th place, came the pig. Onto your bottoms. And then put your legs out in front of you, keeping your knees slightly bent. Take your hands and creep them under your knees and place them either side of your feet for our pig pose. The Jade Emperor asked the pig why it took him so long. The pig said he was feeling hungry, so he'd eaten some food and then had a little sleep. And that was the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac decided. The rat came first, the ox in second, the tiger in third and the rabbit fourth, the dragon fifth, the snake sixth and the horse seventh, then the monkey eighth, the rooster ninth, the goat 10th, the dog 11th and the pig 12th. And all of a sudden, onto the riverbank climbed a very angry and very wet cat. Let's go into our cat pose. Onto your hands and knees. The cat was not at all happy with the rat for pushing him in the water and making him lose a spot in the race. He had no place in the Chinese zodiac New Year. And from that day onwards, rats and cats are no longer best friends. Now, they actually don't like each other at all. Oh dear. Okay, let's come to lying on our backs. Taking your feet to fall to the side and your hands by your sides. What an interesting story. And what an interesting way for the Emperor to decide on the order of the years. And that's the 12 years of the Chinese zodiac for Chinese New Year. New Year, new beginnings. Things can always be fixed in a new beginning. No matter how tough things are getting, we can carry on and start afresh and new. We all have our own journey. We might do it with some help from someone like the dragon. We might work as a team like the monkey and the rooster and the goat. Or we might do it our own way like the dog and the pig, having some fun along the way. Whichever way we decide to take our journey, we don't want to do it like the rat, being mean and cheating. It's not about winning and being the first there. It's about being part of the race and making your own decisions on your own journey. And now wiggling our fingers and wiggling our toes. Bring your knees up to give them a hug. And then roll onto your side and push yourselves up onto your bottoms and crossing your legs. And we'll end our yoga with our yoga goodbye. Namaste. Bring your hands to your heart. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us at Little Diamond Yoga Stories today. See you again soon. Bye.